Hey guys, I want to talk about something that I just see people, it's such a mistake that people are making all the time in business. And that's that everybody's in such a rush and they don't give themselves enough time to simply have any success. I mean, we come into the business and we start up and we think to ourselves, man, it's been a month, 2, 5, even a year, and a year, even 2, 3, 5 years a lot of times into business as an entrepreneur. And we don't have all the success we want to have. And I'll tell you, it's a big mistake to go, it's been too long, I've been at this for 6 months, I've been at this for a year, 2, 3 years, and I haven't made $100,000 a year yet. I haven't been able to quit my job yet. I haven't been able to I'm not a millionaire, I'm not driving a Porsche already or a Bentley or something. And this is a huge mistake. It's a massive mistake that people are making, because what we don't understand is that most people at a job, if they even have a job that pays them $100,000 a year, it took them a long time to even get there. And when I mean a long time, many times it's years and years and years. And that's after paying many times to go to college for 4 years. 4 years of giving up your life to going into debt, not let alone making a little bit of money. Somebody's like, well, my first year in Primerica, I only made 10,000, 20,000, whatever their deal was. And they just don't look at the long-term play. Don't think about the fact that you went to college for a year and spent 10 grand or whatever the number was, and you did that 4 years in a row and got into a ton of debt in making no money at all, coming out with a degree that may or may not get you a position somewhere. But we go into this thing called entrepreneurship, and we're like, man, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to run my own business in a field I know nothing about at that. And I expect to, like, in the first 6 months, be making 8 grand a month or 5 grand a month, or it doesn't even matter what it is. What the reality is that when you start in business, you're starting in business. And the reality is it's going to take some time for people. Some people are right off the gate, they're going to do really well. But many times those people have paid the price. That learning process, internal process, they learned it before they ever got here. They learned it growing up. They learned it with their family business. They learned it in some different situations. Maybe they picked it up from sports or something. But usually people like myself come here at 20 years old, and it takes me, 4, almost 5 months to get my life license, because I'm working so much at my job. I'm going to school full time in college. I don't really have the time to go into this licensing stuff and really buckle down and study. I finally am able to get that. And then I go through this period, where the first year I only make about $9,000. And, everybody's like, man, you only made 9 grand. But it's amazing how you look down the road, and like now people are like, man, I wish I was making 20 grand a month. Well, so does everybody, but most people aren't willing to put in the 5, 10 years it might take for them to get there. Some people might get there in 2 years, but it might take somebody else 10. But the reality is, if in 10 years you're making $250,000 a year, $500,000 a year, where else would you have gone if you quit doing your own business? If you quit entrepreneurship to go back to a job, what job is going to be paying you that kind of money at all under any circumstances in 10 years? At least here, it's a real shot. At least here, it's an opportunity. At least here, it's on you. It's not on outside circumstances. And I've always played by that rule when it comes to betting or gambling. Don't ever gamble on something that's out of your control. It's out of your control if you get a raise at your job. It's out of your control if you get fired or not, if benefits change or not. But it's within your control in entrepreneurship if you hustle 18 hours a day. It's in your control in business if you make the phone call that you're scared to make. It's in your control if you talk to the people you don't want to talk to. All things in your control. If you're studying for the test, if you're putting in the time, if you're doing what you have to do. All things that you control, not somebody else. So when you are doing those things, you can't blame anybody else. We can't blame the companies that we represent. We can't blame the gym for us being fat. The reality is, if we're not getting to the place we want to be, it's ultimately on us. We got to remember that it works the same in fitness as it does in business, and that it all really comes down to us. If we aren't making the decision to do what we have to do as entrepreneurs to win and not be like an employee, but to be a business owner. If we're not putting in that hustle, if we're not putting in the study time, the reading time to get better, and we're not doing what we have to do to improve ourselves, then that's nobody's fault but our own. So I mentioned all this to come back to the point of what I was saying. It's a long-term play, guys. Don't come into business and expect that, like in 6 months you're making all the money, or like you're going to be like these, people think they see a YouTuber and they're like, wow, this guy's making all this money or something. You think it just happened. You don't know that for years they studied film, they studied editing, they went through all this stuff like that, all this creative process before they ever did that. And then even once they got their YouTube channel, they were doing it for a long time, many times before they started to get any followers. And the more important thing to remember about that business versus this business is they have to make those vlogs every day. Otherwise, if they don't make a new video, there's no new views, and no new views equals no new payment from YouTube. In a business like this, when we get clients and we build a big company, we build a long-term, lasting residual income from client base and people under management and a brokerage. So, guys, it's a big-time business here we're talking about. When you're talking about big-time business, it's not going to come free and it's not going to come stupid easy, because otherwise everybody in the world would be doing what we do and there would be absolutely no opportunity. Be grateful that it's difficult. Be grateful that it's taking you time. Be grateful that you're tough enough that you're still here. Be grateful that if you're watching this video, you're the type of person that's trying to get better, so that you know that, hey, it's in your heart, you are working to get better, and you know that long term you are going to be in the right place. You'll be in the place ownership. Remember, life is most everybody on this phone, I'm sure you got 10, 20, 30, 50, 80 years ahead of you, in this lifetime. So quit putting everything into such a rush, worrying about the next 6 months. You don't expect a newborn baby to be dunking a basketball at 6 months old. You got to give it some time. So anyways, hope that helps you guys, and look for lots more of this type of stuff coming out to you. So have a good